Wait. Okay.
Alright, everyone, let's call this final student council meeting of the year to order. I'm so thankful to have been elected as your president. And thank you once again to Hermie Flanders for running such a hard fought campaign, despite the many obstacles he faced. Last year during the campaign, I brought dogs into school to help alleviate the stress of finals, which created a bit of a scandal when we found out that my opponent, Hermie, is severely allergic to dogs and had to be rushed to the hospital. The pups were an effective ploy. I did get 100% of the vote. But in our school of 900 students, only 8 people cast a ballot. 8. That's 0.8 repeating percent. Due to this embarrassingly low turnout for our school elections, I think that we should have a talk about political illiteracy. According to The Atlantic, on September 17th, 2015, political illiteracy is a lack of comprehension of the events in today's political world. Considering the chaos surrounding politics this past year, that has led to childlike squabbling and a deepening division of our country, high schools lacking civics courses are detrimental to our nation's future, ultimately silencing our own voices. Hey, shush! Your president is talking. Today, in order to be contributing citizens of our nation, we will nominate the problems surrounding political illiteracy, debate the causes, and finally caucus the solutions. Millennials. We are almost defined by our winning streak of not showing up. There is a notable lack of millennial participation and general interest when it comes to civics and politics. As reported on November 9th, 2016 by the New York Times, the 2016 presidential election was the first election in which all millennials were of voting age, making us the largest voting pool. However, of the more than 75 million eligible millennial voters, less than 24 million showed up at the polls. That's only 31% turnout. Okay. Maybe next time they should start handing out participation trophies to get more millennials to show up. Additionally, we're misinformed. Despite the fact that we are the most educated generation in history, millennials are completely lost when it comes to civics. In January of 2016, the American Council of Trustees and Alumni tested seniors at the 55 top-ranked colleges in the nation on basic U.S. history. And 80% of the students received either D's or F's. But they also found that 10% of recent college graduates believe that Judge Judy is a member of the Supreme Court. Obviously, millennials are in need of some civic education. In an attempt to salvage my reputation and right the wrongs done to Hermie, I sent some balloons to his hospital room. Turned out he's also allergic to latex. Then, Principal James Comey sent out an email just 10 days prior to the election stating that it was his belief that I had intentionally sabotaged my opponent only to retract his statement and clear my name the day of the election. His retraction came too late. The damage was done. Our student body had lost faith in us politicians, which was a contributing factor in the low voter turnout. Likewise, our country has grappled with a growing distrust of politics for generations. According to the Pew Research Center on November 23, 2015, due to the failing economy and war in Iraq, in 2007, the American people's trust of the government dropped to an all-time low of 24%, and there has been little change since then. Today, only 56% of millennials say they believe that voting even gives them a say in the government. The other 44% are content to just complain about it on Twitter. #apathy. And it was just this type of apathy that our founding fathers tried to combat through civic education. In his farewell address, George Washington called for a mandated education system because he believed it was necessary to have an educated voting public in our democracy. So one of the primary reasons we were given free public education was so that we could vote intelligently. Oh. Sorry, George. After giving Hermie 2 life-threatening allergy attacks, I figured I'd apologize by sending him some ice cream. Yeah. He's lactose intolerant. At this point in the race, Hermie was done with me, and all political discussions were brought to a standstill. Conversely, we need to start having open, civil, and informed political discussion. As stated by the September 29th, 2016 New York Times, this can be achieved through listening and personal research. In order to have a productive conversation about controversial issues, we need to start actively listening to the other person and ask them genuine questions that will help us to better understand their perspective, rather than judging their point of view. And when presenting your own perspective, you should be able to back up your statements with evidence and research. You are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts, not even alternative facts. Furthermore, there need to be regulated mandates implemented for how students learn about civics. When it comes to civic education, the state of Illinois is actually on the right track. For once. According to the September 7th, 2015 Chicago Tribune, Governor Bruce Rauner has signed a piece of legislation that states that the graduating class of 2020 will be the first class required to have at least one semester of civic-specific education. However, in lieu of government mandates, there are other methods for teaching civics that only require for teachers to set aside the time to make them happen. These methods include discussing current events and issues that matter to students, offering government-based extracurriculars, and encouraging students to get involved in school governance. So the next time someone says that student council is just a popularity contest, you can tell them that you're just following your call to civic duty. As we come to the end of this final meeting of the 2016-17 Student Council, I'd like to thank everyone who helped us to have such a successful year, and remind you that it's now time to start thinking about our future. The Student Council needs to work on rocking the vote this year for the elections, and increase that participation rate from 0.8 repeating percent to 800 repeating percent. I mean, hey, we live near Chicago. Vote early, vote often, am I right? On the national front, it's essential for the sake of our country's future that millennials and generations to follow become politically educated and engaged. Today, we have examined the problems, causes, and solutions surrounding political illiteracy. And finally, in the grand tradition of our high school's previous student council presidents, it's time for me to announce my endorsement for next year's president. Please, before I kill him with apologies, vote Hermie Flanders 2017. I feel the